Haridasa Thakura book. We are in the Jagannath Puri pastime, the pastime between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridasa Thakur. So it is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela how Haridasa Thakura used to often keep company with Govinda, the former servant of Ishwarapuri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master. Govinda had been ordered at the time of Ishwarapuri's disappearance to go to the Neelachala and render personal service to the Lord. Lord Chaitanya had been reluctant to accept service from the Govinda, who was his god brother. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya pointed out that the order of spiritual master could not be ignored. Thus Govinda began his service to Lord. Since Govinda was from Shudra caste, Haridasa Thakura, Junior Haridasa, as well as the devotees Ramai and Nandai used to stay with Govinda since such association did not go against the social practices of the time. Govinda constantly served all of the Vaishnavas and saw to their needs. Haridasa Thakura, the devotees mentioned above, used to stay with the Govinda to be in the best possible position to offer service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, his associates. Thus, the good fortune of Govinda, who had served with him, was unlimited. On the occasion, out of affection, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu summoned Haridasa Thakura to come and take lunch with the other Vaishnavas. But Haridasa Thakura kept himself at a distance. He answered the Lord's summons. Let Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have take his lunch with his devotees. Since I am abominable, I cannot sit down among you. Govinda will give me prasada later outside that door. The behavior of Haridasa Thakura is the most instructive when human being is born into circumstances that place him in socially disadvantaged position in human society. He will need to resent his situation and burn inwardly for the day when he can retaliate against those who have disparaged or maltreated him. If such a person, by endeavor and good fortune, rises above his former position in society, he finds ways to strike back at those who formerly oppressed him, or at least to remind them of their former wrongs. This tendency to lord over or seek vengeance upon others is very strong in conditional life. However, Haridasa Thakura not only had no such retaliatory mood, despite his being recognized as the greatest Vaishnava by the Supreme Lord himself and his associates. He continued to possess the mood of a person without position or status in human society, even within Vaishnava society, which judges the status of a person by spiritual development. He kept himself in the most humble position, considering himself to have no qualification in any social realm whatsoever. He had no scent of a desire for profit, as adoration, or distinction. Therefore, he fully met the qualification for constant chanting mentioned in the very composed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanaina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all senses of false prestige, and should be ready to order all respect to others. In such state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Sometimes real humility is misunderstood to be an inactive or passive state. This is not the case. In fact, the active preacher is a superb example of humility. A preacher who humbly takes up the difficulty order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the spiritual master to approach conditioned souls and try to convince them to begin spiritual life. And in the process endures endless rejection, condescension, dismissal, and sometimes even physical violence. Is certainly showing a wonderful example of humility. Elevated humility may be defined as the selfless action that one takes to satisfy the Lord Chaitanya and the spiritual master. Even if one is not free from selfish desires, his sincere effort to distribute Krishna consciousness on the order of the Lord and the Guru is a practical demonstration of surrender and humility. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nacha tasmad manusyesu kaschin me priya krithama. One who is doing this humble service of preaching word, Krishna consciousness, nobody is dearer than him to me. Although actual humility is preaching on behalf of the Lord, still a demonstration of humility is important in relation to the public. So you have to become very humble, Trinada Pisunichena, humbler than the grass. Just like everyone is trampling over the grass, it did not protest. Why you are going, keeping your leg on my head? But that is the Trinada Pisunichena. Go on trampling, hundreds and hundreds of people are trampling over the grass. They, the grass, don't protest. Trinada Pisunichena, Tarora Sahishnuna. The tree is standing. You sit down when there is something scorching heat. You take pleasant pleasure by sitting down under the shade. But the reward is that you cut the branches. That is their reward. He gives you shelter, and you cut the branch. You cut the old tree. This is their what. This is what gratitude is. This is your gratitude. You see, because you are rascals, we don't know what gratitude is. They're asking milk from the cow and killing. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, Tarorapi Sahishna, tolerant, humbler than grass, Amanayana Manadena. Don't expect any honor for your person, but no other give honor. Oh, you are most exalted person. Although he is rascal, what can he be done? Otherwise you cannot preach. I think I can stop here. So we are continuing the Jagannath Puri pastime between Haridasa Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And here, here is talking about uh, Haridas Thakur stayed with a Govinda, who is a servant of Ishwarapuri, and who is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so even though he's in a Shudra family, he used to serve, with the Lordship and all the devotees very nicely, and even the devotees also don't show or see any discrimination, and helping Govinda, staying with Govinda Prabhu, and serving him, and serving Lord along with him. And also here says that out of affection, when Haridasa Thakura was asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take the lunch, and with the Vaishnava, but Haridasa Thakur is rejecting that, and he wants to wait, and he wants to stay where he is, and want to wait prasadam to be sent to him than he coming here, because he doesn't feel like he's qualified, or he's showing his humble nature. And also it is also said sometimes people are not treated well, and when they're treated, and when they chant, and when they become a devotee, and sometimes they condition life because of material nature, sometimes they want to take a retaliation or show their pride. But here Haridasa Thakur is in the humble state of mind. There's no retaliatory mood, despite being, recognized as the greatest Vaishnava by others. Supreme Lord itself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has told that he's the dear devotee. And here it's been, I think, we haven't seen any book without mentioning the Trinada Pisunichena from the Chaitanya Sistastaka verse. So here it's quoted again as written by composed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Trinada Pisunichena Tarura Pisahishna Amanayana Manadena Kirtanaya Sadahare. We should be humbler than grass. We should have a lot of patience, tolerance, and with that humble state of mind, once we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we surely can go back to Godhead. So here it's talking, who is better example than a Haridasa Thakur. I think even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu itself himself is quoting that, and this is all about talking about how one can be humbler than grass and how do we develop the humble state of mind.